Hi, my name is Rob Baker. I'm a partner at Chartwell Law, and I'm joined by John Spadea and Tom Gallagher. Today, we're going to discuss a primer of a recent article that we drafted regarding employer tips in the COVID environment. Today, we're going to discuss a few issues, including the Family First Coronavirus Response Act, the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Act, as well as OSHA. The intention of today's presentation is not to review each issue in great detail, but rather to discuss at a very high level some of the issues employers are experiencing, and we will revisit each of these issues in greater detail in future segments. To start, the Family First Coronavirus Response Act, or FFCRA, provides certain benefits to eligible employees, either for paid sick leave or in the alternative paid FMLA. There are varying amounts of compensation to the employee, which is paid by the employer depending on the circumstance. The circumstances also vary with respect to paid FMLA protection, but it is important to note that the paid FMLA does not expand the current FMLA protections if an employee had previously used such time. In other words, if an employee was out of work for 12 weeks due to FMLA for childbirth prior to April 1st, when the law was enacted, the employee does not receive an additional 12 weeks if there is a COVID-related qualifying event. The FFCRA is important as it also provides tax credits to the employer in situations where the employer has provided these paid leave benefits. With that, I will turn it over to my colleague, John Spadea, to discuss OSHA.
Thanks, Rob. So there are a number of things you could get into with OSHA, but for the purposes of this presentation, this article, I just want to talk about the general duty clause. For employers, if you don't know, you should. Every employer has an obligation to provide a safe workplace for their employees, free from recognized hazards that are likely to cause injury or death. Clearly, that applies to the coronavirus. So fortunately, the OSHA has sent out guidance on how exactly you do that. And there are a number of specific categories of measures and controls that you can and should put in place. And we will get into those in future presentations. And I also welcome you to go to the website at chartwelllaw.com to check out our Coronavirus Resource Center for the article itself. But bottom line up front when it comes to OSHA that you need to take from this video is that you need to create a plan. It needs to be specific to your workplace, and it needs to address the unique risks that your employees will face. So a retail store will have a different set of risks that you won't see at a factory. So OSHA recommends modifying your plan to meet the risks that you will face. And this can include everything from actual engineering and physical barriers, modifications to the workplace, to administrative measures that you can take, such as implementing shift modifications, having people work from home to the extent they're possible. But there are any number of policies that you can and should implement, and we'll get into those in future discussions. But you need to be proactive, create a plan, and it needs to be specific to your workplace. So with that, I'm now going to turn it over to Tom to tell you a little bit about unemployment compensation.
Thanks, John. As everyone is aware at this point, on March 27th, the president signed into law the CARES Act, which is the largest stimulus plan ever in response to the current COVID-19 health crisis. The CARES Act includes a temporary expansion of unemployment compensation for certain individuals unemployed as a result of COVID-19. Among other things, employees will receive additional unemployment compensation than they typically would receive under state law. The CARES Act also extends the duration of benefits available for covered employees and eliminates the current waiting provisions for these individuals. In addition to unemployment compensation, the CARES Act also provides a number of loan programs that may be helpful for many businesses. there are essentially two loan programs. One is the Paycheck Protection Program, and the second is the Disaster Relief Program. Depending on which program is right for your business really depends on the facts of each specific instance. In future episodes, we will discuss these programs and what benefits they may provide to you. Finally, the CARES Act essentially provides eligible employers with up to 3 favorable tax provisions for maintaining employees that benefit both the employer and the employees. So now I'll turn it back over to Rob for what to expect moving forward.
Thank you, Tom. Moving forward, as I've mentioned, we intend to present more in-depth sessions for each of these issues, as well as a number of other current trending matters affecting employers in the COVID-19 environment. We encourage you to discuss amongst yourselves and contact us either directly through our website or to leave comments in the comment section of this video so that we can answer any specific questions that you may have. We thank you for your time, and we look forward to the next presentation for your review.